my biggest concerns. The three biggest stressors for the first time literally in my life.
What has been the biggest challenge?
Away we go traveling. Welcome to Away We Go Traveling. I'm Kara. This is Gary. We are an early retired couple that full-time travels in our SUV in the United States while we're lucky to have our little dog still with us. So today is a very special episode. Today marks 1 year of being retired early for me. Gary retired a couple months afterwards. So we're going to do a little Q&A.
Q&A.
And see what comes up.
All right.
All right.
Ready to start?
Let's go.
Okay. How did you practically prepare for the transition in the months leading up to your retirement?
So I would say one of my biggest concerns was mindset.
Mm-hmm.
And there were a lot of books that I read. I know we have talked about these in previous videos. So there were several books that we read about mindset that really made a difference to me, primarily removing my self-identity from the title I receive by trading my life force for wages. Is kind of how the book phrased it, that I am not my title. I am not my profession. I am something else. Shockingly, that is a big psychological lift. For me, it was to get my head around that. I've had some very fun jobs and some very amazing jobs and worked with some very incredible people and felt like I was one of those incredible people. So I had to prepare myself by doing a lot of reading, a lot of psychological preparation on that big identity shift.
Okay. Describe the first few weeks of your early retirement. Did it feel like a vacation or was it an adjustment from day one?
So I would say the first couple weeks, my big plan was to take 2 weeks off and do literally zero, just kind of pretend like I was on vacation. We lived in an apartment building at the time, so I'm in Florida, so like I could go to the pool, I could go to the gym. The problem is I really enjoyed that. I guess it wasn't a problem, but the 2 weeks of doing nothing and just enjoying myself turned into really like 4 months. Oops. Sorry, not sorry. Yes, I really had fun. So I planned the first few weeks to be a total and utter decompression vacation. It just turned into months instead of weeks.
I guess determined that's what you needed.
Yeah.
That's okay.
No, absolutely. You're right. I think I did need that. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
What has been the most unexpected joy of having your time back?
I would say one of the things I look back thinking about that we were going to do this and have this Q&A, I look back and glad that I did some journaling in the first like 6 months or so that I retired early. One of them was how many times I referenced, so we have a dog that we're traveling with, Molly. That's why we're in the US traveling full time. She's almost 14. She'll be 14 in just a couple weeks. Having that kind of dedicated time with her while we're still lucky to have her has been an amazing joy. And I would say that's probably maybe number one, but you're talking about like me personally, having that time with Molly. But secondly, for the first time literally in my life, every decision I make is mine to make. My time is mine to schedule. If I want to work out, if I don't, if I want to sleep in. And just having a simpler path. Just being able to get up when I want to and have coffee as long as I want to have coffee. And there's no drinking in the car and spilling it. Oh my gosh. No. It's just quiet. My mind is so much more quiet. And I love it.
Conversely, what has been the biggest challenge or unexpected difficulty you faced in your first year?
I would say, and it's pretty much the flip side of exactly what I just said. Given that my entire life has been structured since I have conscious memory of either school or work forever, having all that time to myself was, I had to learn how to create structure in my own life and make time for the things that I wanted to do and what was important and valuable to me. I always said, oh, if I only had more time, I could train for all these half marathons and go to the gym 15 times a day. And well, I didn't because I just didn't have that structure and I'm still working on that. So yeah, that's a struggle. The flip side of all of this time is now mine, yay, to all of this time is now mine. Oh, It's different.
How have your relationship with friends and family shifted now that you're out of the 9-to-5 world?
So the fact that we retired early, but then we also went very quickly into full-time travel because we moved for work almost a decade ago into a new state, a new town where we knew literally no one.
Mhm.
And I got accustomed to that kind of hard landing of already trying to keep up with friends and keep up with family remotely. And then when the world shut down in 2020, a lot of things went digital, and that really helped too of okay, get my mom an iPad so we can FaceTime more and because we just couldn't see each other and being able to keep up on social media with people. And I have a group of friends that every Monday night since 2020, we watch a movie together over used to be Zoom, now it's over FaceTime, and we catch up. And there's 4 of us women that do this every Monday as long as we're all available. I just know that there's value into relationships and I have to put the work into keeping up with people. I'm also in a virtual book club. Knowing that I'm the one that made the change, I do my best to be available to them and try to keep up with them.
Describe your first few weeks of early retirement. Did it feel like a vacation or was it an adjustment from day one?
So I referenced earlier about the journaling. It literally was the 6 month, almost, it was like 170 days. I had a journal entry that I finally felt decompressed and deprogrammed from the mental like chatter from my job. And at that point is when I said, okay, it's time for me to start creating. And that's when I started kind of putting the work, like mental work into starting YouTube channel. And I said, I need to sign up for a half marathon because that's one of my favorite hobbies. So I just had to start doing something for myself. I put in that statement that I was my own project.
How has your relationship with money changed now that you're living off of your investments?
So I mentioned earlier about the preparing to early retire and reading books get me kind of like psychologically prepared to separate myself from the title of my work. The same book journey that I had, and we can list all these books. We did a video a while back. I can link to that too. But it was about for money. It was really removing yourself from the societal expectations of what people think you should have and the hedonic treadmill of consumerism that it took me I actually had to put the work in and do the emotional and mental preparation to know that I don't have to spend a ton of money to be incredibly happy. And not that we can't because we do treat ourselves, but I don't because we're full-time traveling, we are incredibly limited on space. So that means the money that we do spend goes to very important things, not just more trinkets to fill my space. So we don't spend money on on accumulating and gathering and increasing possessions. We spend it on experiences.
Beyond financial security, how have you found a sense of purpose and identity outside of your career?
So I don't know if it was one of the books I read or something else, but it was when someone who is early retired, when people ask them, "What do you do?" Because it's usually, I don't know, for the U.S. anyway, people are very much you're valued based on your job of what kind of job did you have. So this person didn't care. They say, "I have fun." What do you do? I have fun, and I like that. I like that answer because my person, my personality, my identity, your soul, whatever you want to call this, is so different. At least I've found, and I'm working on it every day, that it's different. Again, I said this before, but the job I performed to get wages is not who I am as an identity.
What new skills, hobbies, or interests have you discovered or had more time to cultivate?
Ooh, okay, yeah. So hi, YouTube channel. Uh, hi, friends. Uh, literally, like I think I've been thinking about it, and I really, even since I was a kid, my sister and I would sit in our grandparents' basement with a old school cassette recorder, pretend we were on, the radio or TV or something. And I know in high school, college, I always wanted to do something with media or video, and always ask people like, "Oh, you do this video thing. How did you get into that?" And I just, my job was wonderful. I didn't need to go do anything else, but I have found that. And I've found that I adore video editing and I love it. And it's such a creative process for me. But it's wonderful. Even if I spend a whole, like 2 solid days working on it, Gary's watching TV, and just because what I'm doing is work shaped, it kind of looks like where I'm sitting at a desk, I've got a computer, but it is 100% just joyful for me. It's so fun. That's been a whole thing for me, and I love it.
What advice would you give to someone who is currently planning their own early retirement?
So just like I mentioned before, I did not just rage quit. That wasn't something I just woke up one day and Gary and I were like, screw it, let's not work anymore. This was a years long process, 2 or 3 years probably, of preparing ourselves mentally, emotionally, financially, lifestyle, budget, mental and emotional health. I mean, this was a process. It's not something you're going to be able to do on a whim. And if you do, it's what do they say? It's not the fall that is the problem. It's the abrupt stop at the end. You need you can't do anything abruptly. That's where the problem is. So going into something intelligently, going into something with planning is where that matters. And for me, again, doing a lot of the reading to work on myself and know what I was to doing the reading to build something on the other side of that quit line that I could step into and continue with energy flow, continue with progress.
Looking back at your pre retired self, what do you wish you had known that you know now?
I heard this recently, and Gary, you actually may have found this quote, I think.
Mhm.
But it's that you are the lead character in your own life, and other people are the lead characters in theirs. So there's almost no one on this planet that cares about what you do. So the fear of it, the fear of being judged, the fear of being socially outcast, or this is not normal and it's a weird thing to do, and it doesn't matter. It just really doesn't matter. It doesn't. In all the races that I've run in my life, there's a rebuttal when people say, "Oh, you should have run faster and you should have worn different shoes. You should have whatever." It's run your own race. Unless you paid for my race entry, I'm going to run my own race. I'm going to do it my way. And I think that matters here. Nobody else cares. If it makes you happy, find your joy.
Do you ever see yourself earning income again, perhaps through a passion project or part time work?
So I'd say, I mean, right now, we're doing the YouTube channel for fun. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, this is all it is. People, I know there's, misconceptions about
There's
YouTube.
tens of people that watch this.
10. Hi, mom. Yeah, we have tens of fans. So we are not Mr. Beast. We are not, I don't know.
With no illusions of trying to do that.
Yeah, I have no delusions of grandeur. I don't have drama content, or, we don't go jump off of bridges. I don't know, whatever.
We did almost die on a
We did almost die on a bridge. Best video. Thanks. But this is for fun. This is because I wanted to do this. I wanted to learn video editing. This is not some kind of, delusion that we're going to be monetized and blah, blah. So, I mean, I don't necessarily, I would say there's not a need for me to go out and do something part-time for money. If I wanted to go, volunteer for something, or like if a really great cause came along or something and it was a paid position, I think I could benefit them. I mean, sure, but there's no need there. I think I'm really enjoying and growing because I have the time to not have to worry about that. And don't get me wrong, I understand how entitled that sounds, and I'm not trying to be crass or insensitive. I just know where I am right now. I am blessed to be able to have the opportunity and the time to do what I'm doing.
What is a belief you held about early retirement that turned out to be completely false?
So I think for me right now, early retirement and full-time travel are kind of one and the same animal because we kind of started doing them, or at least we're planning. Gary and I have been planning this the whole time, even if I retired a few months before he did. So there's a big difference between a vacation and full-time travel. Vacation is, we're going to do a whole video on this if we haven't already put it out. If not, look forward to it. But it's a big difference. And I thoroughly enjoy the slow pace of the difference and being able to focus on me.
If you had to describe your first year of early retirement in the title of a book or a movie, what would it be and why?
So again, a quote that Gary found recently that I just love, and I think it would sum it up, is doing ordinary things in extraordinary places. Because full-time travel is still groceries and cooking and laundry and going for a run, whatever, but we just move a lot now. And it's fun to have a running route under a new sky. It's really good.
What is a small, simple pleasure you now have time for that feels almost like a guilty secret?
So yeah, like I'm like hugging up in my chair now. One of the things I really, really just adore that I never had time for is just like an hour and a half morning coffee. I can't even describe how beautiful that is. Like, I've never had time for that. It is always quick, grab the coffee and run to the car, and it's all over me. And then I'm in traffic. Oh, like now I would say I'm maybe, I wouldn't call a night owl, but I definitely sleep in longer than Gary does. So Gary will get up and make coffee for both of us before I'm even up. So I wake up and there's coffee and it's just I pour my little cup and I'm just, oh my God. Like, and I can go onto the porch and drink coffee. I sit on the couch. I don't know. It just feels like it's a horrifically guilty pleasure. I can't even explain how wonderful it is because it is such the antithesis of how I've spent my last, I don't know, since my first full-time job. It's just a fantastic guilty pleasure. I love it.
If you could have a 5-minute coffee meeting with your pre-retired self from 2 years ago, what's the one piece of urgent advice you'd give her?
Don't be afraid. Do the work. Trust the process. And go boldly.
Now that we've finished the question and answer section, do you have any final thoughts you want to talk about?
So one piece of advice I would say for anybody, actually just anybody in life, but especially if you're making a big change. I've always heard that the three biggest stressors in anyone's life are if you lose or change a job, you move, and you have a relationship change, like a divorce or something. Very stressful. Gary and I have done two of those
Simultaneously
within a very short order of time. So mental health is very important, mental and emotional health. Keep an eye on that. I mean, I have a lot of friends that are in the mental health field, and they're wonderful people, and there are lots of venues and opportunities to chat with someone. If you ever think you need to chat with someone, it's not as scary as you think. There's as much stigma as what there was back in the day. So if you want to be the best version of yourself, you work out your muscles to have a good body with the organ inside your skull. Look at that too. Oh, and on the same note of that, I heard someone say that excitement and fear are two sides of the same coin. And the problem is your body experiences those the same way. So know that difference. And when they say lean into the fear, lean into the excitement. It's all about your attitude. And finally, I think the other is that this lifestyle, being retired and full-time traveling, is not a vacation necessarily, because a vacation is very fast-paced and structured and you have to go, go, go. But this is, it's okay to have down days. and be unproductive occasionally without feeling guilty for it. It's okay. You worked for this. That's why you're here.
I think that's it.
Okay. Cheers, friends. Cheers, Gary.
Cheers. Like, subscribe,
Hit all the YouTube buttons.
hit all the buttons. Tell us about your early retirement journey.
Yeah. No kidding. Comment down below on the side or wherever, whatever device you're watching this on. Give us your tips. Are you retired? Are you planning retirement? What do you think I'm drinking? What's in my cup?
All right. See you next time.
Happy traveling.
I did this last time too.
Let's go to the blooper reel. Okay.
Now that we're stopped for a second, I'm gonna get my whacker.
For a bug?
Yep.
Oh, I see him.
I don't know where I put it.
Whacker. You have a shoe on though. Just step on it. You're not going very far.
Where is he? Oh, he's down. He was on the door.
Yeah. Did I write anything down?
No.
Damn it.
That was not recording.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I know what's in there.
You poured it for me.
A little bit of wine and a little bit of water.
Mm-hmm. Sparkling water. It's a spritzer.
It's a spritzer.